Welcome back, everyone. It's time for another And Now for Something Horrible. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. So today I wanted to talk about something that's not an insect, but falls under the category of bug. This is an isopod, which is the type of crustacean. The ones that you are probably familiar with are like the wood lice, the pill bugs, or the roly-polies. So when you overturn a log in your yard, especially when you were a kid and you were picking up rocks and stuff, you would probably find little roly-polies underneath. Frequently during the summer, they'll get inside your house because it's too hot for them. They need a cool, moist environment, so they'll frequently come in from wood chips that are around your house or anything like that, or come in from the garden. So that's what we're talking about today. But specifically, I want to talk about marine isopods. So this guy is a woodlouse. This is the kind of isopod that you would find in your yard or coming into your house or in your basement. Your kids are probably playing with these. Kind of familiar. These are kind of familiar to everyone. But what you probably aren't familiar with are marine isopods. So these are crustaceans. So you can imagine that there's more of them in the ocean than there are on the land. And the ones in the ocean are crazy. There are free-living ones, there are parasitic ones, there are tiny ones, and there are huge ones. And the biggest one can get over a foot long. They're absolutely enormous. They are frequently associated with really deep ocean. But this one's been fished up from the bottom of the ocean. You can see, compared to this man's hands, it's absolutely enormous, and they get just huge. But the one I wanted to talk about today is called Cymathoa exigua, which is a parasite. And you might be familiar with this from some pop culture stuff. It's really cool. It's a very unique parasite, and it is fairly large. So you can see this is a little over an inch. This is large for one. They don't usually get this large. They are usually about half this length. But you can see that it's kind of reduced. It doesn't have all these extra legs and things like that. It's because it's parasitic. But this is the tongue parasite. This is a parasite of fish, and this is more common of its length. So this side is the head. This is the head end, tail end, and these back hooks these are hind legs, and they're really important. These burrow themselves into the mouths of fish. So how this works is the males and the females will enter through the gills. The male will stay back here for the most part, and the female will crawl up into the mouth. And the female is larger, and she will sever the tongue of the fish using her forelegs, her four claws. She will sever the arteries that feed the tongue with blood, and the tongue will then necrose and fall off. The female will then burrow into the stub using those hind legs that I showed you on the previous, these hind legs, these hind hooks here. And she will burrow into the stub of the tongue and latch herself in. And it's at this point that she gets cozy, and this is where she'll spend the rest of her life, so long as her host lives. She feeds on the mucus and blood cells around the lining of the mouth, and she effectively replaces the tongue. This parasite becomes a functional tongue for the fish. The fish does not die from having its tongue severed. It will continue to feed normally, and this parasitic louse, this sea louse, will direct food down its throat and completely function as the tongue. The male and female can mate here between the gill arches and the mouth, and juveniles will be released out of the mouth through the gills. And the juveniles are all male, which is kind of crazy. The juveniles are kind of asexual, then they all become male. And some of these males, as they mature, will then become females. But they will spend their whole life inside for the most part, inside one host. Now, if the host dies, the female will crawl out of the mouth and sometimes latch itself onto the head. And that's kind of the end of what we know about its life cycle. But what I have read in some places, I haven't been able to confirm this, is that occasionally the female will leave the host for other reasons, in which case the host will then starve to death because it no longer has a tongue to be able to direct food down its throat. So this is what it looks like in a live fish. Here you can see its little eyes. It completely replaces the tongue inside this clownfish's mouth. And there it hangs out for the rest of its life. It's pretty appalling. This is the only known animal or parasite which functionally replaces an organ of its host. So it's super neat, and now you have something else to worry about. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.